Wonderful Biafran, freedom fighters, Oduduwas, Middle Belters, and Lambazonia. Welcome back to Umo Biafra TV. May the peace of the Lord be with you. May the face of the Lord shine upon you, my old subscribers. God bless you. Are you watching without subscribing? Or are you coming across to this channel for the first time? Please, if what you are doing pleases you, I would like you to give us a shout by subscribing to the channel, clicking the notification bell. We have two sides of video we're going to watch. One is where Julius Malema of South Africa is asking the French Prime Minister to get out of African business. The other side is where Arthom is condemning the inability and insecurity in Nigeria. May the peace of the Lord be with Nnamdi, Kanu Eastern Security Network. May he come out to declare Biafra for you and I. He say.
Here is your latest African news. Julius Malema calls on France to stay away from Africa's business. Malema has told President Marcon to stay out of Africa's business. He spoke about the chaos witnessed at the Pan-African Parliament, PAP, last week. The meeting drew criticism after physical altercations and persistent disruptions stalled proceedings in Midrand. The 40-year-old has defended those scenes, however, arguing that robust debate is needed when tackling serious issues. However, he wasn't so forgiving when it came to assessing why things got so violent. He blamed a cohort of countries allegedly under the influence of France.
Since its formation, PAP has not had any president from the northern and southern region. The East, the West, and Central region, dominated by Francophone countries, have historically used their numerical strength to block the practice of rotation. Despite the AU's advice that PAP must comply with the rotational principle, the dominant regions sought to ignore this and proceed with elections. Over the years, France has manipulated these numbers to impose a candidate of their choice. This explains why during last term elections, the France foreign minister addressed PAP without initially being scheduled in accordance with the program soon after a Francophone candidate was elected. Similarly, it is no coincidence that the President Emmanuel Macron visit to South Africa coincided with PAP's program to elect a president, which means Macron, like his Minister of Foreign Affairs, was meant to give a surprise visit and address the Pan-African Parliament with the hope that PAP will have elected their supported Francophone candidate. The refusal to implement the principle of rotation was to make way for the highly sponsored Mali candidate who landed with a private jet in South Africa. However, thanks to the resistance and formidable spirit of the Southern Caucus, supported by the Northern Caucus and all progressive members of the Pan-African Parliament, France's plot was defeated. We call on France to stay out of African affairs, in particular the Pan-African Parliament. We further make a call to all African youth in Francophone countries to fight the France agenda to keep Africa and its leadership chained to imperialist interest.
Julius Malema states that the French are interfering with the process in order to ensure they keep their choices of candidates in power. Thank you so much for watching. Visit our YouTube channel, Tunacheki, to watch our weekly news report and our website at tunacheki.tv for all the latest African news.
Yeah, but Your Excellency, let me just follow up on something in your opening remarks when you said you had spoken with the president and on a separate occasion, his handlers on a separate occasion. So what was his response when you spoke to him about this?
His response, Mr. President has a set mind. Let me tell you, I have spoken to him personally. And his outing publicly also confirms what he told me. Mr. President believes that for peace to reign in Nigeria, there must be open grazing. There must be provision for cattle routes. There must be provision for grazing areas. And according to him, Mr. President feels that those grazing areas that were enacted, especially in the northern states, and cattle routes, those who have encroached on it, because I raised it with him, and he insisted that those who have encroached on it should be relocated. And that was why I told him that, look, we're no longer in the 50s. We're no longer in the 60s because the population have overgrown the land what we have. Land is not increasing, but today we have over 200 million people compared to the less than 40 million we had in the 1950s. So there is no way we can talk about open grazing. In my state, for instance, there is no land for open grazing, but there is land for ranching. And this is the global best practice. If we accept this problem will be over. And that is why most of my colleagues, in fact, the entire of my colleagues, irrespective of their party affiliation from the South, accepted that, look, the way to go, it is ranching. Most of the states in the North have also accepted that, look, the way to go, it is ranching. And I have recommended to Mr. President and his handlers that, look, just like we subsidize agriculture and provide subsidy for fertilizer and all that, we can do the same thing for herdsmen because ranching, it can be a little bit expensive compared to open grazing. So we can actually help our herders by ensuring that we have subsidy for in terms of water we provide because their cattle takes a lot of water, in terms of fees that we provide. And we can devise several other ways. And I can assure you, I'm a farmer and I know the challenges that we're talking about. I have a ranch and I know the problems accompanying this. But at the same time, I know the potentials that we have. This is another way that we can provide millions of opportunities, millions of jobs, and also empower our people who, for now, when they cultivate rice and harvest the straw or soya beans, when they harvest the straw and all that is wasted and it is burnt. This can be turned into feeds. That is what I use in my ranch. And I've been saying that we can do all this. But Mr. President doesn't believe that. So I was not too surprised, but I was disappointed that after the entire country is talking about ranching. You have heard what Raji said, and many other responsible Nigerians who want this to be solved. But because I think Mr. President is pushing me to think that what they say about him, that he has a hidden agenda in this country, it is true, because it is very clear that he wants to Fulanize. But he is not the first person who was Fulani president. Shagari was Fulani president. Yaradua was Fulani president. They were the best president in the history. But President Buhari is the worst president when it comes to issues of security and keeping his promises. Go back and check in 2015. What did he say? Human rights issues. He talked about press freedom. He talked about the economy. He talked about corruption. He talked about security. Tell me one thing that Mr. President have achieved. He has achieved some level of development in other sectors. But truly, these prominent things that is a concern to Nigerians and we're all worried. Tell me where Mr. President have come out to address this matter. Is this corruption? We are worse in the history of this country. That
well, it's interesting.
Thank you for watching. If the video blesses you, do not hesitate to share the video with your friends and your family out there. You never know who you're going to bless with just a kind gesture. Until I come your way next time, I remain your sister, Gloria. I love you all. Remain blessed and rapture ready. It is all about heaven. Bye-bye.
Thank you, my amazing people. If the video interests you, go ahead, like, share,